live coverage of Expo North as it happens.
This is Expo North Live.
We all have fond memories of our favourite children's TV programme, and today joining me is the creator of Lily's Driftwood Bay, Joanne Carmichael. Thanks for joining me. Now, where did the idea for Lily come from, and how important is the Isle of Arran in her creation?
Well, I guess the Isle of Arran's really important to me because that's where all the inspiration came from. The beautiful scenery and basically all the sea treasures that were washed ashore, the plastics and the sea pottery and the driftwood, they all made up the scenery and the characters. So the idea came when we bought a little cottage on the Isle of Arran, which was not much bigger than a beach hut, really. It was tiny, and each day I would find myself going down to the waves, down to the beach, to see what the waves had washed ashore. And I was collecting and filling my pockets full of driftwood and sea glass and pottery and all kinds of beach salvage. And I was collecting loads of it. And then one day I sat on the sand and I started creating a character, started creating a dog, because all the different pieces of pottery are beautifully shaped by the waves. And I'd found a few that were kind of little cup handles, which looked like dogs' legs. So I made a character of a dog, and then actually I just started making them as pictures and selling them in galleries. I had no idea of making a TV series at that time, absolutely no idea. And I had no background in TV either. So at that stage, I was just thinking of making pictures. But at the same time, I ended up selling about 250 pictures in galleries around Glasgow and around central Scotland and on the Isle of Arran. And at the same time, I was also thinking in my mind of a story of a little girl called Lily who lived in a beach hut, friend of the seabirds, who every day would go down to the shore to see what the waves had washed, and she would get up to an adventure with what she found. So these two things were going on in parallel. So I guess I was making characters but having an idea of a story, and then one day I'd sold about 250 pictures, and then I imagined one of the characters I was making moving, and it was that kind of light bulb moment that I thought, gosh, this could actually work for television. I wonder whether this would work as a children's TV program. So I decided not to make any more pictures, stop making them, and to try and find some route of getting it to a TV company.
And what was that route? How did you go from more traditional sort of art style making to TV? How did you make that transition without that background?
Well, I guess I had the concept. I had a format of a TV show sort of written down, so I'd already, that it would be a make, do and mend kind of storyline, and it would be inspired by one find. So I guess I had a kind of writing background, and I had the characters, so I just took them as this kind of showcase to a TV company, and then they developed it with me. So I brought all the kind of foundation elements like the boat and the sea glass sea and the idea of mixing media and mixing collage kind of photographs and beach salvage. So I guess I just brought what I had, and that's all I could do because I didn't have any training, I didn't know all the ins and outs. But that was for me. I just had this deep passion inside me about it, and I knew it was a niche thing. I knew that there was nothing else that anybody was doing, so I didn't think too much about what I didn't have. I just thought, well, what do I have, and I'll do something about it. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So they were very welcoming to your ideas then?
Yeah, well, they could see the vision, and there were two development producers that worked with me, Sarah Daddy and Chris Bob, and straight away they could see its potential, which is quite exciting. So the three of us developed it together, and it was brilliant, the teamwork, because we all sparked off ideas from each other, and they developed the characters with me, they developed the locations with me. Yeah.
Now, you have some wonderful voice actors, Peter Mullen, Stephen Fry, amongst a host of others. Yeah. Were they the voices that you imagined the characters having, or was that a surprise to get actors of such high regard?
Well, I guess it felt pretty special that they said yes. But some of them I'd got in mind. I remember one day we all brainstormed together, Colin Williams, the director, and the creative director, and Sarah and Chris, and we all sat around a table trying to imagine who the voices might be. But the one voice I had imagined was Lord Stag, because he was very much inspired by Lochranza. There's a ruined castle there, and I used to go down to Lochranza and see the stags wandering around the ruined castle. And the idea from Lord Stag, who's a kind of dancing stag, came from there, and I imagined that a character would be amazing if it was voiced by Stephen Fry. It was a really fantastic posh voice, eloquent words, and the idea of this stag that lived in a ruined castle, thinking it was his palace, but actually it was just like a ruin, really. So I did have the idea for Stephen Fry in my mind, but the others were kind of a surprise. But now I couldn't imagine them as any other characters. Yeah. The voices have certainly brought them to life. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for coming in to speak to us, and all the best in the future with new projects, Joanne.
Thanks
a lot.
Gary. Thanks.